Well, hello, this is Madeleine from Madeleine's Craft Room, and I'm excited to show you some really cool techniques using embossing folders. Now, this particular one that I'm going to show you today is from our Spring 2022 catalog. And in this catalog, it's on page 11. It's the Love and Happiness bundle. And in particular is the embossing folder, which is a hybrid, which means that in this bundle, you not only get the stamp set, which as you can see has lots of beautiful ones for weddings, anniversaries, engagement, but I also like it that you can use it for other times of the year. Here's a beautiful font of the congratulations. And then, as you can see by the dies and this embossing folder, you could actually use it, and I'll show you many more as we go along. There are so many other wonderful things that you can do with these flowers. And here's the label dies, a small heart and a big heart. And this big heart in particular is what makes this embossing folder very unique, because this not only embosses, but it cuts. Look how it fits in there. And that's what you do, is you put your paper inside and you close it up and you emboss it. And when you emboss it, it is going to cut, and then with the heart as well. But they come out as two pieces. Now, I have been doing lots and lots of different folders with this. And one thing that I found is, at first it was like, okay, I put it too far this way and then I put it too far that way. And I wanted my heart to be in the middle. So what I did is I took my Sharpie pen and I put some marks. So when I did this, I marked at the end of the Stampin' Up! Logo, and then a mark here, here, so that I could then match it right away without any guessing. And same thing going this way, I matched it here and here and here. And yes, I put a few marks on my embossing folder, but it is so helpful. I would really recommend that you do it that way so that it makes it so much easier. I just want to have fun playing. I don't want to be guessing every single time. So here we go. I'm going to show you a few things. But first of all, this is actually my website, madeleinescraftroom.net. And if you go to my website, you will be able to see more videos, as I have many different resources there, as well as I do have my classes are listed in the menu. I do in-person classes when we are able to do that, and that's always a lot of fun. And we also have virtual classes, and some of them is where I prepare a card kit to go, and then you, as long as you live in Canada, either you pick up or I can mail it to you, then you could receive this kit and you could either join us in a Zoom class, or you will be given the PDF and an instructional video that you can watch at a time that's convenient for you. So lots of opportunities. We also do a special monthly, again, when we can, and that's where we get together and do a class, and we make a fun day of it where we do a potluck, and then we have some more fun extending upon the techniques that we've just learned. So go to my website and you'll be able to check out all those wonderful opportunities and fun to join our community of crafters, which we have so much fun together. So tonight, I'm going to show you this card. And here again is what I did, is I took just this is Highland Heather, and I took the Highland Heather and put it through the embossing folder. And then I did another one in white. And so that's how I ended up with a two pieces. In this particular one, I'm using fresh freesia and, again, our white. So this is what will go inside, but we want to color it. And I'm going to show you how we can do that. So tonight, I'm going to do it a little bit different. Oh, I should show you. I also did it in some yellows. So here is the Mango Melody, and I've used Calypso Coral and the Mango Melody and then the Pear Pizzazz. And just again, a spring look to this. So it does not have to be Valentine's Day. It's a very springy card. And the one we're going to do tonight is a little bit different. It's using, again, our embossed heart, but we're going to use polished pink, fresh freesia, and then again, I will use the pear pizzazz. And I'll just grab all my little guys here. And we are going to start, I think we'll start with the darkest one. Oops, and now I'll get my hand in the green. Yep. Things I'm faithful for doing is sticking my hands in the ink. But what I'm going to do is use a dauber and use the dauber into the ink. And I'm not going to press hard and I'm not going to smear with this one. I am going to turn the dauber just a little bit on the side so I can have a little more control of what I'm doing. And basically, I am just going to just move that a little bit more so you can see. You can see that I'm just getting it on that one flower. Now it will go over sometimes, especially as we get to the leaves. You'll see that it will go to a few others, but just do your best to try to get, see, like there, I went over a bit, but that's okay. And let's see, we just kind of spread them out. We don't want them all in one row. Let's see, let's do another one over here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always kind of try to do the big one in odd numbers. Okay, and then now we're going to use fresh freesia. And now I'm going to color those. So same thing, I'm angling it on its side and I'm just going to catch these other flowers. And it, like I said, it will be hard to keep it exactly on the flower, but just do your very best to kind of get in there. And it might just turn out a leaf ends up being a flower, but oh well, that's okay. So there's another flower. Here's another flower. And if you by chance do miss one, don't worry, because we can always come back and finish that later. I'll put a pink one behind, or a purple one behind that. Here's another big one. We'll do this one in here. And here's one here, I think. Some of these might be buds, but that's okay. And I touch base with the little one. I think there's one more here. So because fresh freesia is my actual color of my paper, I am trying to make it as more my dominant color, but it doesn't have to be, I think. And if not, that's okay. We can always come back to that. Whoops, now I'm going to take my pear pizzazz, and again with my dauber. Now, like I said, when you're doing this, a lot of people like to put their finger actually in it. I don't mean my fingers are too big, but I don't find that comfortable. I tend to kind of hold mine like this, and then that way I have good control of where I want to put my ink. So again, the leaves are not as high, so they can be a little harder. So that's why I tend to, again, curve it a little bit more and then just put it onto the high points of the leaves. Now, again, this is where it can be a little bit tricky that you're going to get some of it off, but that's why you're just being very, very gentle, and you're just trying to get those high points. And try not to get it on the other colors as well, because then it will turn more brown. And brown's fine for dirt, but we don't have dirt on this card, so let's save that for planting. So let's see, do we have all the leaves? Maybe a little bit there. What do you think? Does that look a little bit here? Anyway, you can always go back and you can touch up more if you want, but I think that's basically it. So I'm going to close up my ink, because as you already saw, I'm very good at putting my fingers into the ink, and we don't want to dry them out. So there we go. Now I'm going to bring my fresh freesia paper, and again, all I would do is put that on a white cardstock or whatever color, and then you would place that inside. So there you go. Then here is how you would have 3 different looks just by using different colors. So that's one tip. I've got more. I've got a whole bunch of tips to show you tonight. And so here's another one. And this time again, I'm going to use purple. I like purple, sorry. And we're going to use white craft ink for this one. Now, I'm going to use a dauber again, and I am going to use a dauber only because I don't have a blending brush that I designate for just my white. So I do have one that I use just for my craft white ink. And so basically you just ink it up. And this again, we are not going to press hard, but we are going to do a little bit more of the sliding with the dauber. So basically just on the higher points, we're just going to take it and go over our flowers. And so this is again another technique. Oh, I guess I should have shown you how we're doing this. Why are we doing this? I'll put that down quick. I want to show you. This is the technique that we're going to do. So this is where we're going to just make it a little bit white. Kind of makes it look a little antique-y. And in this particular one, I did not use white craft ink on the middle heart. I used the actually Winkostella just for the middle. And then with this die cut, I felt the white was too stark. So I took my blending brush in the polished pink and I just kind of faded it down just a smidge with the polished pink. But that's the technique we're going for here. And I just love it. I used, I think on another embossing folder, I had used it with my Balmy Blue, I believe it was. And oh my goodness, that with the white, oh my goodness, it looks so beautiful, almost like the Wedgwood look. So that's all you do, is you just go all the way around. And if you want to emphasize these big flowers, they're a little bit easier to do, but I kind of like it that you can just scoop right over, just finely on the top. Sorry, preschool teacher that I used to be. It's easy to get in that mode. There we go. Okay. Yes, I have a lot of fun. I had lots of fun with kids, and now mostly has been crafting. But yes, what fun. So look at that difference. I will hold up, I'm going to cover this up. This is a very white sticky ink, so we don't want that on everything. So again, this is what it looked like. And this is what it looks like now when we just use a little bit of the white craft ink. And of course, this is the finished card of an idea of how you could finish that card. So that's one. Now we're going to take it another step. Like I said, I got lots to show you tonight. So this time we're going to use the white. And I'm going to take out Highland Heather. And this time I am going to use a blending brush. And the blending brush, I use this just for any of the purples. We could bring a scrap paper in if you like, and you can dab off if you want. And that way, especially if you want to do it very light and keep it light, or if you don't mind it getting darker, like don't press hard, start off very light and go down. And then as your color gets off, then you can apply a little bit more pressure and then get more color on it. So again, if you want it a little darker, go down light, touching it, swirl it around, and then you can go in a little heavier. But doesn't that ever make it a nice design too, by just adding a little bit of color? And like, to me, I like it a little bit darker than that, but that's where you can decide if you want it darker, if you like it just very, very light, depending on what kind of card you're making, or if you want to do it darker. So just like that. So there we go. That's a quick finish, but that's how easy it is to make that kind of card. So you can see that if you would put that and I don't have a dark one in front of me, but you know, you can see if you put that on another card, it would look very, very pretty. All right, next. Oh boy, let's close the ink. All right, so next I have some fun stuff with vellum. So vellum here, this is our plain card stock vellum, which is absolutely beautiful when you use it on an embossing folder. And I love how the inside of this folder has that stitching of the heart all the way around. And it looks so neat because the fact that it is smooth and then it starts with the floral. So very, very pretty. So now there are many colors. Like if you put that on top of any color, of course it's going to look like, for instance, here we got the red. You can see the color that shows through it. But I'm going to show you another way that you can do it, especially if you have some paper like our new free with a $60 order for celebration. We have this marvelous paper, and this side is more subdued, and I find it goes with a lot of things. You do have to be careful what you're using this side for, but it can be wow. But in other times, other cards, that would be a little too wild. But look what happens when you put that on top. Isn't that ever beautiful? So vellum can kind of mute it a little bit so it's not so dark and overwhelming. And this one actually seems to be the same color, but you can again see how having that all on your card might be a little overwhelming, but you put that on another piece, it looks amazing. So that's one technique with the vellum. Now I'm going to show you in our team, we were learning alcohol inking, and these are some sheets that we did in our team. And this particular one, I had some purple tones, and this one I had more of the red and the pink. Well, this is where it's kind of fun to do some experimenting with color. So you could take that, which is just our normal kind of vellum, and put that on a purple, and you can see it kind of has a marble look to it. But let's see, if you put that on a white, look at the different look that you have. Isn't that beautiful? Because you can see that marbleized inking in between there. And then let's look at this one. So this one here is where I've taken and I've put the white behind it, and it shows up all those colors really, really well. Well, let's take a look what it would look like with red. This is what I do when I'm creating my cards. I just put it in front of different ones just to try to see which one I like best. And then the other one would be this one. And personally, I kind of like this one just because it blends with all of them, and yet it still showcases that beautiful inking, alcohol inking that we did. So again, that is another way. And don't forget that when you cut out your hearts, you're going to have the hearts as well. So when you do this, then you can have, again, another one for another card as well. But we're not done yet. So here we go. So now I am going to show you another way that you can use vellum. We have here our shimmer vellum, which is beautiful gold shimmery vellum that we have. And so again, that looks beautiful inside our embossing folder. And you can see this card that I did with it. I made this into a wedding card. And what I did here in putting our little one is if I would have attached that, because it's vellum, pardon me, because it's vellum, you can see through it. So any glue dot or any glue or anything would show up through it. So what I did is I took the little heart die and I put a piece of vanilla underneath it, and then that just keeps it the solid gold. And then I put some Winkostella on the vanilla heart just because this is so sparkly. I didn't want this to be without. So that's one idea. Now, as you can see, I cut this of the gold shimmer paper, and then I had an extra gold heart. So I took this one with the vanilla cardstock, and I made another gold one, and I put the 2 gold hearts with some gilded gems on the bottom. So again, very elegant, but very simple to make. Now, I'm going to tell you something funny, is that when I went to do one of my cards, I went and put them in, and I guess I was in dreamland, and I put this in here, and I'm closing it up, and I put it through our cut and emboss machine, and look what happens. I put it in backwards because the shiny side is on this side. But you know, I thought, actually, that looks really cool. It's kind of more antique-y looking. So I decided to make this card with this. And again, I used a little piece for my little heart. And in this set, of course, in the dies, we have these beautiful little flowers. And I put the gilded gems on top of there, and then added our gold shimmer ribbon as well. And here again, I gold embossed our sentiment. And what a beautiful wedding card an oops ended up being. And that's what I love, is oops, when you can turn it around to something beautiful. All right, still not done yet, ladies. It's pretty exciting. I got one more to show you. And this particular one here, I am using the mother of pearl. Like, look at that. It's iridescent and so shiny. It is simply beautiful. And I thought, well, I wonder how I could get it in different colors. Well, I decided to use the heart, and I tried using the blends on it. And so I took the polished pink blends, and this is actually what happened. So it does have a little bit of a streaking look, but you know, that wasn't bad. And again, just how shiny it is, it's pretty beautiful. But there is another way to get the shine. It's a little messy, so we're going to put our piece of paper here. And I'm going to show you this technique on real red. Now, you could use a plain piece of paper and then do this technique and then emboss. For instance, this is what I did with this one, is I did this technique with grape, gorgeous grape. And then once it was dry, or after I heat set it and it dried, then I put it through the embossing folder. Isn't that ever stunning? Just beautiful how you can see how shiny that is. But that is not the mother of pearl. This is what happens when you use normal cardstock with clear embossing powder. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And in this case, I'm going to do it a little different because I have embossed this already. And I have found by doing that, it's actually easier to hold on to because of the fact that you've got this hole in the middle. So it's a little messy. This is a very sticky because this is our Versamark. And what you're going to do is you're going to really press in because yes, you could go like this and you could get just the raised, but I want to have the full effect of it all shiny. So I'm going to go all the way around, pressing quite hard. Go all the way around. And this ink, like I said, is sticky. This is why we use it with our embossing folders, because that way the embossing powders can stick to it really well. And basically, you're just going to go all the way around. Hopefully it doesn't dry too much yet. Okay, now I have it already open and ready to roll. I am going to now take our powder, and I'm going to put the powder all over. And this is, I guess, why having that hole really does make a difference. It was definitely a lot more difficult when I did this with the normal size paper. I tried to use my tweezers, which it worked, but it definitely was more tricky. So I think we got it all covered. I'm going to cover up my Versamark, and I'm going to move my powder far out of the way because Now we're going to take out our heat tool, and we're going to see what happens. So this doesn't look very spectacular at all. So just a second, I'm going to turn this on. It's going to be a little bit loud, but this is where the magic happens. So we're just going to get the heat tool hot, and then we're going to start it in one corner. And this is what is always so exciting about embossing, is the whole magic that happens. Like, look at this. And you thought that was just amazing with just a little bit of embossing powder. But look what happens when you do this. Isn't that ever stunning? And just how it shows on all the flowers. It does the background. So we're just going to keep going all the way around. Go to the edges and then go all the way up. And like I said, when I did this with my tweezers, it definitely was harder because the tweezers left a spot that then the powder came off. That one little spot, and then I had to redo it. So I find that this works so good because you can hold it right where the heart is and you're not wrecking anything. And it's getting a little hot, so I'm just going to move my fingers once again. Here we go. Slide it up, just slowly. You don't want to shake it, just let the tool do its work. And once it's hot, like I say, then it goes really quickly. Is it all shiny? You'll know by the shiny. If it's all shiny, which it is, we're done. Whew. So there we go. So look at that. This is the difference. This is real red. This is real red. But this is clear embossing, and this is not. Unbelievable, hey? Isn't it beautiful? So again, you can see that it kind of has the same look, but that's how you can do that with clear embossing. So again, that's then when you can finish the rest of the card. Oh, I hope you're not tired yet, because I still got one more technique to show you. And I'm going to show you by showing you these two cards. So this is the one card. So this is another technique using our embossing folder, and I'm going to show you how we can do that. So I cut out a spot with the little one, and then this bigger piece, and then this one here too. And all I've used is, this is polished pink, no, pardon me, magenta on the white, and this is fresh freesia on fresh freesia paper. And isn't that stunning how you can have that kind of effect? Well, how did I do that? Okay, well, let's see. We need our embossing folder again. And what we're going to do, I'm not going to actually finish it all the way, but I just want you to be able to get an idea how to do this. So open up your ink pad, and normally we ink paper. This time we are not. So whatever side says Stampin' Up! Is the side that we want to. Now, if you wanted the other negative piece, then you would do the other. But I'm going to show you, look at me, ink all over me already. So I kind of like to turn it around. But remember, this is the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo on it. And I'm going to just show you what that looks like by taking your ink pad, and you're going to go right down onto your embossing folder. Don't worry, this cleans so good. You just take it to your sink and you just wash it off, and it just comes right off, no problem. So not to panic. Now, if you wanted light, you just need to do a few times. The more you go on it, then the darker it will come. And so basically, again, I'll just show you here. There again is that effect. So you're going to have that color in the background, and the flowers and the heart are going to pop up white. So that's all you're going to do is just keep going. And once you get it the way you want, the color, then you are going to take, where's my heart? Okay, I've lost my heart. Well, not my real heart. Oh boy. Here it is. I guess I better dab a little bit more because it might have dried. Okay. So this is where then you take this heart and you are going to place it, remember, in that magic spot. It just automatically fits in there. Make sure it's secure. And then this is where you take your paper. And again, it actually helps to use a bigger paper. This is what I found was one of the secrets. You won't use the whole piece, but I find it's a lot easier if you take your folder, fold it up, because you don't want any of this smudging. So as soon as you get it into the crack, you're going to press it down and you are going to emboss that. And when you go through your cut and emboss machine, oops, then this is what you're going to get. Whoops, no it isn't. Hang on. Let me just show you. Hang on. Let me just run it through real quick, because I want you to be able to see what happens. Hopefully not as, oops, I'm dropping everything. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Now it doesn't want to go through my machine. Oh, there we go. I've been doing lots of work the last few days, so my arms are a little sore. Okay, so here we are. Remember, this was Magenta Madness. This one is Polished Pink. So you don't want to be touching it too many places, but you lift it and look what you got. Take your heart out of here. And again, don't worry, just run that under the sink and it won't be a problem. And same thing with your heart. So in this case, your heart gets dirty too. So you're going to wash that. So there we go. Now I'm going to show you that when I did this, you can see it's not absolutely perfect in every area. And I find that seems to be on the end where I am. Let me just bring my embossing folder. It seems to be the end here where I'm touching, and it seems to be that's where you're getting more pressure. So the less you can touch it, and what I normally do now, I've learned, is take it right to your machine, and once it's inked, then put your paper on, close it up, and run it through your machine. And I say that because I've done lots of practicing, and oh my goodness, like I say, it started off real bad. One side's beautiful, but the other side, I kept having trouble. See here? And then it depends. So when it does not, like in this case, here, see, if you do it this way, you only need a part of it. But you know what? That's where you could put your sentiment. That's where you could take one of these other hearts and you, not this one, but you know, again, you would find another white heart or something and maybe you place that on the side. Anyway, it is a different technique. I have done it before with snowflakes and Night of Navy, and it just turned out beautiful. So I don't know. If you have any answers, let me know if you have found this secret. But anyway, if you cut that part off, and that's why I like doing it on the bigger one, because at least then this part, who cares if you have to cut that off. But here again is where you can see this card that I did here, and that's how I did that technique. And again, depending on what you pop, up or down, there are many different ways that you can do that. So there we go, ladies. I have shown you many, many different techniques, and I hope you've learned a lot, and be sure to check out my website. And if you are needing a catalog or want to have more information about my classes, don't hesitate to ask. We'd love to have you as part of our little crafting community, and we have so much fun. So thank you, ladies, and I hope you can enjoy having some fun with your embossing folders. All right, and I should mention, if you want to know a few more techniques, I also did a Facebook Live that is on my blog, but also on my YouTube channel, and you can check out even more ideas there. So have fun. Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.